Well, hello, good evening. Robert's here as well. Bear with me. I'm just going to spotlight myself and Robert and bring us up as always. Hello to everyone who's joining us already in the group, in the Zoom call from the Inner Circle group. And hello to the world of Facebook and YouTube and all of that as well. And we're back to our normal time this week, so it might throw some people in the UK because we're I think it was last week we were an hour early. Why don't we just leave clocks alone, Robert?
What is normal? Happy Friday, everybody. You know, it's I love the weeks, I love the weekends, I love what I do.
It's always good, isn't it? So in a little while, we've been asked by a couple of people to re-show one of the demos of the install to show how easy it is. And then after that, for the Inner Circle members only, I've got an update on the URL of one of the sites that was added to Google to show you that it was only 2 days ago I added it, and it's already been indexed by Google. So that's super exciting to show people tonight. And then we'll do our usual Q&As for Inner Circle members only. So if you're watching on the Inner Circle Facebook group and you want to pop in, there's a link in the chat there under the video saying where we are. So hello DFYers, how are you all doing?
I think
All had a good week?
Yeah, great, thanks.
Good. I'll tell you one thing I haven't done yet, Robert, is posted into the Inner Circle chat group that we are live. But we are live.
Yeah, the other thing that was interesting today, I was chatting with somebody that was brand new to MPP, and a flush, just a rush of memories came back of trying to figure out MPP. And it just reminded me of why we do what we do.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's interesting that, you know, myself and Robert, it's so easy, Robert, to forget about how this all started and why, because we get involved with all the techie stuff in the background. And as always, my partner tries ringing me this time of the evening when she knows I'm live.
This is how we do it.
Yeah, I know. It teaches me for not muting my phone completely, but never mind. She'll probably say something like, can you extend the internet time of somebody or something, you know? So, but by now she ought to know what time I'm on. She hasn't sent me any messages, so yeah. But in a little while we'll go through the demo itself of the install, just to refresh everyone's minds of how we're doing it and why we're doing it. But the cool thing is we're improving the themes as we go along. We're getting them even better, even sharper. We're working on the SEO. Now, with the SEO side of things, I always say to people, there's tweaks you can do yourselves. Don't just trust the X fields on a page. When you edit one of your pages and scroll to the bottom, you've got the Magic Page plugin SEO boxes. You don't always have to keep that data there. So let's say you did a search on Google for as an example, wedding photographer in a location, and the first one that came up went, "We are your local wedding photographer for Yorkshire." You could take that title and go to one of your pages, and where it says SEO title on the MPP SEO settings, remove the X fields and put that in there on one of the pages, and you can tweak that. The idea behind what we were doing with the X fields is to give you more data in the long term, but some areas you might want to tweak it for certain pages. So if you go and do a search and you're not necessarily ranking, pick a page, maybe one of your physical pages you've created for a location, and change the SEO box on the title and description. And in a little while, what we'll do, Robert, when we're purely in the Inner Circle group members only, I'll show you where that is, guys, and how I tweak things.
I was thinking of another way to do that as well. That if we're advanced enough where we have sites built, because I'm always going to say that first. If you haven't built the basics, you got to get that done. You got to have that process in line and understand it, the basics. So once the basics are covered, then you go on to more advanced stuff, because that's what's happened to me. That's what's happened to many others like me that start out with this stuff. They get overwhelmed. They don't know what direction to go. So I'm saying to you, to save yourself a lot of stress and grief, do the basics first, learn the builds. The advanced stuff and learning the stuff that's going online it's a passion. And if you don't stay plugged in, you don't stay learning. But the reality is it all comes in time. You can only learn so much, you can only take in so much, and you have to start with the basics. After the basics, here's my question to you, Stephen, is if I started trolling the internet and I found a keyword that I liked, I know you can add differences to the keywords and the services that are already in the DFY Magic Themes in the X fields. But in addition to that, let's say we can either create a new page based on what you want to rank for, or is it possible to even create a whole new location page based on that new title and content that you want to rank for?
Yes, I mean, there's a whole bunch of ideas, and once again in the inner circle, I'll remind me guys to demo how to duplicate a page. There's an easy plugin you can use. If there's a page you like, you can very quickly duplicate that page and manually change whatever you want on it. Add content, remove content, change images, make it let's say instead of generating a location-based page using Magic Page plugin, you can generate a location-based page with just duplicating a page and adding the location manually on it. Now, I prefer the X fields because if you want, and as we go down the line in the future months, we are going to show you guys on how to change a phone number to a location. So what that means is, let's say you've got your site rented out, but there's a location that Bob the plumber doesn't want, right? But John the plumber wants it, but John the plumber wants his phone number on it. Well, you could go to that page and manually change that phone number, or using Magic Page plugin, there's options where you can say, okay, this mile radius of this location, I want John the plumber's phone number on there. I want John the plumber's details changed anywhere where there's an X field that can change those details manually. And that is some training that will be coming up to show you how to do that. I personally, there's two models I like. One is you set a site up, you don't worry about ranking it, and you phone up some local people and you go, hey, I've got a website you can rent. I know you haven't got a website. You don't offer you don't guarantee anything, you just rent in the website. That's plan A. Plan B is you've got calls already coming in on a site and you're going, wow, I'm getting like 3-4 calls a week. Then what you do is you offer this plan, which would basically be, hi, I've got leads coming in. How do you like me to send you some leads? And I've mentioned this before. If you're already sending the calls through to John the plumber, and he doesn't know he's receiving them, you can phone him up and go, hey, John, I've already been sending you calls through for free from our website, right? Would you like to receive all the leads from this website for $500 a month, half the leads from this website for $250 a month, or a third of the leads for this much a month, maybe $100 a month? And you get your own pricing ideas, and he'll go, well, I don't really want to pay you anything. Okay, well then we'll turn the leads off and give them to your competitor. Thanks for your time. When the calls stop coming through to John the plumber, he's going to be calling you back going, I've made a mistake. I should have kept those calls going. What can we do? Right. But when you're offering them that deal, always tell them it's an offer at this moment. So if you give them a discount, when they come back to you a week later, you go, yes, the normal price now. Why is that? Well, because we've got one of your competitors who's going to phone me back today, actually, who wants to take the leads. If you get in first and you want all of them, I can't give them out to him. You take half the leads. At the end of the day, off the record, they can't tell whether you're giving them all the leads or not. That's down to your own models, whether you want to fully honour that or not. In my case, if I was giving all the leads from a page, I would give all the leads, half the leads, and a third of the leads. And it means then you don't actually have to rent the website. You're actually just offering leads. But the issue with that model, and this is always the chicken and egg thing that isn't ever mentioned, is do you rank the site first and then sell the leads and bring people on board, or do you bring people on board ready to receive the leads? And I think it's just far better, proof is in the pudding, to have a site, get the leads to that site and route the leads through to one or two lead buyers without them knowing, and then phone them up and tell them you have been sending the leads. And would they like to continue receiving some free leads? They go, please, certainly. Okay, next time you get a call from us, you're going to get a call whisper from SB Leads. Don't hang up. It's not a robot or a spam message. It's us. And then there'll be a call on the other side of the line. If you happen to get a sales call, can you let us know? We'll block that number on our system. And that's a very simple way of passing the leads on. And then now we've got the web forms built in on the new builds. That comes in on the admin email. You can just forward the email to multiple buyers. So as those leads come in, just forward them. And then those that have Lead Simplify, as you know, you can get them to sign up into Lead Simplify and buy the leads directly from the dashboard, which is a tidier way of doing it, because if you're sending a lead 3 times, you've got to send all emails out from the admin panel free to free businesses only. Unlike if you've got 10 businesses on the system and those leads are inside Lead Simplify, they can only be sold 3 times. So once one's been bought 3 times, it disappears off the system and no one else can buy it. So it's all down to, what you can afford, which way you want to do it.
So let's clarify that a little bit. So what Stephen snuck in there real quick was the build right out of the box is going to have in opt-in forms that are there that are already linked to, it's actually 2 different forms linked right to the admin of the WordPress build for the DFY Magic Themes site. So one of the pages, the footer now has a link with a, would you like to rent a website like this kind of button that takes it to a contact separate page of somebody that's maybe interested in your business model of what you do with the DFY websites. Our business model is to rent them. Anyway, so they're going to contact you direct. That's going to go to the admin email of the WordPress site. Now, the second part, what Stephen was talking about, was going into Lead Simplify, which you can also have on the DFY Magic Themes site, but you're going to have to adjust the forms on the build. So we put the free on the instantaneous build model to make things easier getting people started out. The second part of it will go into your magic form with the codes for the Lead Simplify forms. So we have the best of both worlds on the builds. We're making it so your sites are selling your service as well, at the gate. So the more you build, the more exposure you get for your individual business. And then lastly, I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say there. I don't know, right out of my head. Something about Lead Simplify. Anyways, so there's a lot going on as the builds go forward, but continue building and know that the magic form is always your data. And Stephen, we need to do the build because we're going to get into more advanced stuff in a minute when we go back to the inner circle.
Yeah, I'm just quickly checking because last time I played this video, I wanted to make sure I updated it because it actually showed a password login for the front end.
We don't want to show that.
And I don't want to show that this time. So I'm just checking I've got the updated video before we do that. Only because when you do this install now, there's one standard password that shows up. And
the other part I wanted to do while you're looking at that, Stephen, is I wanted to give a shout out to Lynn, Bob, everybody, Chris, that jumps in the group and engages with people or gives them gifts is what I'm going to call them. Because that's what you guys are doing. You're giving them hard work in Excel spreadsheets, in things that you've already accomplished, and you just freely give it to people in the inner circle. I mean, that's very kind to share what you do with the other people in the group. And I really appreciate that. Stephen appreciates that.
Yeah,
So here we
nice.
go. It looks like we have our video in place.
Yeah,
I just
we are.
wanted to say thank you to everybody that has been doing that. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, and your interaction in any of our groups, we always say, you know, the defiers, if it's a bit of public information and someone asks a question in one of the free groups, then please respond. If it's something in the inner circle mentoring group, that, you know, then help one another out in there again. There may be, you know, your input as well. Sometimes there was a comment a while back saying to SEO, and I read that and went, oh, I hadn't thought of that before, and I went looking. And that was a different way to how I did it. I have to try and find that post again at some point, Robert. But so anyway, this is, we wanted to play this again just to make sure everyone's clear on the new install, right? And the cool thing about it, this is 3 minutes long, roughly, that from start to finish of me doing the install now. This doesn't include the magic form. The magic form on the members area is where you fill in your company data and your phone numbers and stuff, and then import it into here. But this is just a standard install now. And the only thing that you guys need to do after you've done this is do your alt images, really, and then upload the magic form, and the site's ready to roll. So we'll have a listen to this, and this is now the fresh install start to finish. In this training session, we're going to install the electrician site. So with a blank WordPress install, you want to go to plugins, add new. Do a search for WP Vivid. And this is the one we want. Install now. Click activate. Come down to upload. And from your members area, you'll have the WP Vivid file. Select it and open it. Click upload. Now, this will take a little while to run, but when it's completed, it'll say the upload has completed. Click OK. Next, click restore and hit restore again. Click OK. This will completely overwrite the site. So if you're putting this onto a non-blank WordPress install, it will wipe it over, but you're better off with a fresh install of WordPress to make sure the database is completely clear. When it's finished, it will say finished. And then we can come back into settings, check your permalinks. It'll ask you to log back in, and we'll ask you to use the default logins as per the training. On your members area, it will show you what the logins are, username and password. Post name is correct, click save changes. Next, we want to come into users, all users, and we want to add a new username in here. So we click add new. So you'll create your new user and make sure you save the password you've created. Set them to administrator, click add new user. Next, come back in to the top here, log out. Log in as a new user. Next, go to users, all users. And we want to remove the default one. So we can hit delete, and we'll take it to tribal content to your new user. When that is done, we want to come into Magic Page and check that we can enter our key, and you want to enter your key in there, and then carry on with the rest of the Magic Page training videos. The only final thing left to do in here is to come to settings and general and update the administrator email in here, and come down and click save changes. It'll ask you to verify it, so you have to go to your email account and verify it. But after you've done that, that is this process all set up for you. To check it's completed, go and visit the site and scroll down, and if you've got the content here, everything is set up. The only thing left to do is add your location and fill in the magic form in the members area to complete the data on the site build. And that's as easy as that. And there's the electrical site has been updated, and we will be adding it to the members area in the next day or so. We're just finalizing a few things on that build to make sure it's all good for you. but all the builds now are the same, and we've done everything in there. Apart from the alt tags, we don't do the alt tags because we want you to do your own text in there, because those images will get found. So it may be as you go through the site, you might want to add some of your own images, upload them, and add your own alt tags and change them on the pages themselves. But that install now is literally all you need to do. You could leave it as it is and not necessarily worry about the alt tags at first, but I find they help rank your site quite a bit in the first place. So we've gone from where before it was install the theme, upload the text file, upload your magic form data, do some tweaking around. Now it's pretty much install it, fill in your magic form, upload that, do the alt tags, and the site's pretty much ready for you to sort of do some extra tweaking and playing around with. And so we've really streamlined that, and I find it a lot easier to do the installs. I'm sure you do as well, Robert.
Oh, 100%. Now, with that being said, on a fresh WordPress build, it's always the easiest. If you're going to be restoring on top of a previously built MPP site for any reason, you have to be sure of what key or what MPP license key was on the previous build. It's almost better to put a fresh WordPress build before you try to restore on top of a domain name that had an MPP build on it previous.
Yeah.
If you're always using, see, I don't know what license key everybody has, but if you're always using the same key, you won't run into that problem. But if you're using different keys on different sites and you try to install on top of a previously installed site without a fresh install of WordPress, you might have an MPP license conflict. So you just have to be wary of that kind of situation that may or may not happen. But the builds are so much faster. And, you know, the reality is this, Stephen, small changes just to make edits of grammar and other things work, which sounds so simple, right?
Yeah.
But because there's so much going on in the back end, the devs, we had some help from certain people in our group come in and just to point out some of the grammatical things, as well as myself. It was a matter of 3 days to look at one site and go through all of that content to find those little errors and get them fixed. So the builds are complicated. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. They take a long time. They took months to get built. Every theme takes a long time to get built. The ease of use is what we're after. We want you guys to build in minutes what takes us months to achieve. So just keep that in mind. If you do see something out of place, it's very complicated. Before you start going in and pushing buttons and changing things, be sure of what you're doing and make sure you always have a backup copy.
So this site here is the new electrician build, and we are nearly there to release it in place of the original one. Probably a couple of days away, aren't we, Robert?
Yeah, it's a matter of probably the files coming in, and then we just got to get them uploaded into the members area.
So I'll say Tuesday for now, and but it should be before then. Ideally, obviously, life sometimes gets in the way for myself and Robert, and so. But I love about this is we got the home quote page now, so you can set up in the WordPress menu any of these pages. At the top, you've got your welcome to your company name will go in there when you fill in the magic form, and obviously your phone number changes. We've got the obviously about us content on here, blog page, and as you add more blog posts, it should in theory only ever show 3, but it'll always show the latest one. So, so that's quite a nice feature on there. Gallery, all the service pages 1 to 6 with content on them. these are the built-in forms now. So when you do the build on the Magic form, we'll show you. We'll add a video to the members area, but I can show you tonight in a bit that you have to take a code and put that into your Magic form instead of the Lead Simplify form if you want to use this one. All right, and that way then it'll appear. We've also got. Did we add this page to this site here? Yeah, we did. So on the electrician site, and we want to get them on all of them, we've now got when you click on the need a website like this button, it brings you to this page. They fill in the form. It comes in on your admin email again. So that's how that will get received. But once you've rented the site, you come to the footer and you can remove that button or redirect it to another site if you want. But it currently comes to this page here and they fill in their details. And so it's just an easy lead magnet built into the themes for you already.
So that is a secondary contact page on the build.
Yeah.
There's one just for website leads for your business, and the primary contact page is to contact for the actual service that's being offered of the website that we're talking about. In this case, it's electrical services. And then each of those forms, you guys can adjust the fields, you can change them, but what you're looking at are not Lead Simplify forms. They are the free version that's included with the DFY Magic theme. And then all you have to do is change your code to your Magic form when you add in all the rest of your data, and it'll change there right where that form is, depending on the code that you put in there.
When you if you use Lead Simplify and you put the Lead Simplify code in, it'll appear in this orange box, basically.
Right.
So either make the background clear on Lead Simplify or make the background the same color as the box so it matches. All right. But it's just, it's a nice, super easy way. So there's two different forms on here. There's the standard one across the home page. I'll do home quote because it's easy to show you. So this is the one on here where you've got some questions. So that's the question form. And then on the contact us page, it should be just a contact form. There should be a different one, if I remember right, Robert, or do we make them the same?
I didn't see which page you went to.
Between the home page and the contact us, it may be that we made them the same to keep it simple for everyone. So
actually what we're trying to do is make the drop downs generic so they fit for any niche, but you guys have full capability of going in either in Lead Simplify or the free version of the forms. We're trying to make it simple for you.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have a autoresponder now. If you think about it, you didn't have to get MailChimp. You didn't have to go through all that trouble. The form is working out of the box. But what I'll say to you is if you don't change the admin email of the website, then those contacts, I think, are going to come to a generic email that we have in there. Because
so we will receive your inquiries if you don't change under the WordPress settings and general tab, as I show in the training. You change the email address in there, then you go to the email account and verify the change. All right. So, but that's the new electrical one that will be out in the next few days for you guys. And we just want to keep improving everything, don't we, Robert, all the time?
No, and actually, today I haven't even talked to you about this yet, Stephen, but today ran across my brain about, again, bleeding neck problems. I love that phrase because it means the most desperate person looking to do something. A bleeding neck problem, right? You're going to die. So you're going to call. You don't care the cost. You don't care what it takes. I want you at my house or my business right now, So I was thinking today for future builds, not something I even started yet. So I'm going to start talking to the devs about it, to add in bleeding neck problem bullet points. Because right now we're going to a site and we're looking at, electrical, this, that, the other thing. And also I'd like to do in the future more emergency services, which are going to go along with the bleeding neck problem bullet points. Because the clogged toilets, the broken, busted pipe, the flooding pipe in the middle of the kitchen, that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of working on what that means and what people relate to. Because rather than being happy and glee when they're looking at the website, we're relating to them in their bleeding neck problem by showing the bullet points of the stress, what is really affecting them the most. The flood, the mold that's going to grow in the house, I'm just working on off the cuff here of things that I was running through my head. And as we go forward, so when you have the person, which somebody had commented about, they'd like them to call the phone number rather than the contact form. And it works both ways. Every page that we build in DFY Magic Themes is all about one choice or the other, but they always have both choices because some people will call. Others don't want to call, they want to contact. And I think that the whole thing behind that is give them the phone number. Make that phone number where they don't have to look for it. It's following them around the site. It's in the footer, it's in the header, it's in the middle, it's on a button. Then the contact form, again, same thing, always in front of them. I don't know who's on the iPhone, but emergency services get the most calls, but they also make the most money for the leads, for the guy that's going to rent your site, the guy that's going to buy your leads, depending on your business model. So going forward, we'll incorporate probably a emergency services type page to the future builds, as well as another place to put in bullet points that go along with, instead of just you need a plumber, it's going to be, the bullet point would be leaking pipe, house is flooding, call now, something. I don't know what the bullet point is yet, but there you go. Those are my thoughts. You guys can chime in at any time in the groups. If you guys want to start thinking about bullet points that would make sense, we'll make a list of them and we'll just add them in. We'll put them into the X fields, and then we start putting into the builds. So you guys can change them at will, if you will, if you want, in the back of the keywords.
I'm just updating.
Let's see. Default content only included on a site where exactly, Colin. I agree 100%. In fact, that's really what started to happen. I started deleting the 24/7s out of the niches that don't really have that. But that being said, Colin, the reality is, because I was talking to Stephen today, I said, how many emergency services you think you'd have for somebody in web design? And we got to thinking about it, and we said, well, no, not really, not appropriate. But then you think about it, what about the people that have their sites up and their servers go down? They have a 24/7 emergency. So anything you can put a spin on it. 24 hours same day, yep, 1 hour. Well, 1 hour, to be honest, you can do 1 hour, but that's a tough one for the service company. But that can totally be put into the X field. You guys can put them in how you want to call it. If you want to call it 15 minutes and your pizza's free, I don't care. But they have to be there for that website to be creditable. Because if you have an hour service and nobody shows up for 3 days, they're coming back to the website owner.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. So on that note, we are now going to be sharing with Inner Circle members only the how the site's doing, how it's got into Google, and extra inside information. For those that aren't a member of the Inner Circle, you can go to dfymagicthemes.com/live4you. That's live number 4you. Links in Facebook and on YouTube. But we are going to say goodnight to all the other groups and stay live in the Inner Circle Facebook group only. And this is all the inside information and fun that you guys are all going to miss out on because you're not a member of the inner circle. So, Robert, say goodnight to all the non-free group, to all the free groups, I mean.
You know what? The reality is, I'm going to say goodnight, but the reality is, if you're going to be into any kind of mass page building, you need to get into this group. The group fees are nothing. You guys waste money on shiny objects that never work. If you threw all of that stuff away and just put a little money into a mentoring group that supports you and helps you in what you do. Now, if you have absolutely no interest in building mass page sites, this is not the group for you. Don't waste your money here.
It might be, Robert. I will say, right, that we're doing the non, right, DFY build site, and we're going to rank it just to prove I can rank any site, any location.
No, but this is what we do. We're very transparent. We are definers, Stephen, because we're different. We share. If we fail and it doesn't work, we tell you it doesn't work. Don't do it. Yeah. You know, we don't hide it and say we did it. But the reality is, you're proving a point. The proof is in the pudding in what we do. We see the sites go up. We see them being indexed to Done For You Magic Themes on their own. But you decided to go out on a limb and try something on a site that is 3 pages with pictures, very nice pictures, but there's no content to speak of. You know, a couple hundred words of content on that site. Now, is it gonna be a shining star? We don't know yet.
But we're gonna test it.
We haven't gotten that far.
But on that note, good night, free groups. We're gonna